Feels good just to be, I guess we've been on the grass, but to compete a little bit. Last few weeks has been trying to get everything in, get the offense, get the defense in, working separate, and now get to compete a little bit. So that's what we all love to do. That's fun to get the competitive, juices flowing, and to kind of see our offense come together, and then also see our defense, which we haven't gone against yet, is it's always good.
What are your early thoughts on Travis Hunter? I mean, I know you haven't seen a ton of him just yet.
Yeah, got a lot of juice. Like he can run all day, a lot of energy. I love it. Good energy. Always dapping guys up, just bringing juice every day. And like I said, high motor, can just go. It's like a kid, just runs around all day. He doesn't get tired, it seems like. So you can't have enough of that. And then as far as just talent, I mean, kind of speaks for itself. Ball skills, run after the catch. He's very explosive. Just didn't realize how explosive he was in and out of cuts. He's impressive to watch, and we've gotten to connect a couple times. It's only going to keep getting better and better. We've only worked together for a couple days now, so we got some time to really dial in on the details.
When it comes to building relationship with receivers, how difficult is that going to be with him splitting time, corner, wide receiver? Is that going to be a challenge?
Yeah, I mean, you work around all that. You get as many reps as you can. You talk as much as possible, not just out here, but yeah, out here after reps, after 7-on-7 team reps. If I see how he did something and I think he can do it a little different, or if he likes to do things a certain way, he can kind of voice that to me. Both of those things. And then in the building, in the meeting room, watching tape, installing, talking about kind of what I'm looking for, what coaches are looking for on certain concepts, just to get him up to speed, because obviously he's learning a new system and he's super talented, really smart, but it takes some time to learn the system. So we're trying to just get him up to speed, and so he can go and play fast and free and not have to think about it.
BT today versus BT a year ago today, how would you evaluate that?
Yeah, I think, obviously the talent's always been there, but the confidence, obviously off the year he had and what he's done. Now he has a full year under his belt where, he's one of the top receivers in the league. I think my confidence in him, seeing him do his thing for a year now, and just you get that one-on-one, you feel really confident about our guy. So just a lot of confidence in him. He's smart. He's picking up. It's another system he's learning. It's 2 years in, 2 systems, and just been impressed by how he carries himself. The work he puts in, you can tell he studies because he comes in here, he knows his stuff. It's not an easy system to learn, and he's done a really, really nice job.
Given that you missed the last 6 games, 7 games, whatever it was, the chemistry between you and BT, has it taken a second to kind of readjust to that chemistry?
Yeah, I think not a ton. Obviously, just getting back into throwing. I went for a solid 3.5+ months without throwing, just with the shoulder deal, and so starting to throw a little bit before OTAs and then working into it. I feel really good now. I feel like my arm's back in shape. I feel like I'm getting sharper and sharper every day. So I think it was more that than necessarily getting the chemistry back with BT. I felt like we were just starting to get that last season, and obviously went down and we weren't able to finish the year together. But just being able to watch him, even though I wasn't playing, being able to watch his one-on-one reps, the stuff we were doing with him last year, and the situations he was put in, and how he was able to adapt and play the slot and move outside and really take advantage of every matchup. I think that also gave me a ton of confidence in seeing like this is a guy where you can move him anywhere, you can do anything, and he's going to just find a way to get the ball because he's that good.
You mentioned the system. Where are you at with that? What do you like about it?
I really like it. It has a lot of answers. It's great. I mean, it puts a lot on the players. You have to know your stuff, but it gives you all the answers. You don't feel like you're stuck in a play that's not set up for success. It gives us a lot of answers, and we change the presentation a lot. We make a lot of things look the same. There's a whole lot of, without going into too much detail, there's a lot of things that I like about it, and it's definitely unlike any system that I've learned before. So it's been cool to learn and just pick the coach's brain and try to get it down as fast as possible.
Do you have it? You have to take a test to pass it?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have everything in yet. We build up to that, but from what we have in so far, yeah, I would hope so. That's what I've been working to try to get it all down. I feel good about it. Just got to now take it from knowing it to second nature, to where you don't think about it. You hear the play call, you spit it out, you go play, and you play fast and you're not thinking about it. That's always kind of the transition when you learn a system. You got to get it down to where you can just react.
You previously mentioned a few things that you knew you wanted to work on as far as your footwork and things of that nature earlier in the offseason. How are you feeling with that progress under Lee?
I feel really good. It was something I was able to work. Coming into OTAs is just on my own. When I first started throwing for a couple weeks before we started, I was able to work the footwork, and it was foreign to me a little bit then, but now it feels more comfortable. Then just having a ton of banked reps through all the weeks that we've done of OTA, or phase 1, phase 2, and now into the OTA practices. So I'm feeling more and more comfortable. And yeah, I think it's really going to help me. I feel very confident in my feet aligned where I want to go, and progressions and tying my feet to my progressions and being balanced and being able to get across the field quickly. So I think it's been really good, and just got to keep working it. It doesn't come overnight. It doesn't come in 4 months either. It's going to take a while. So just keep working it this whole off season.
A couple of throws you wish you could have back out there today? I mean, what can you learn from, some passes like that this time of year?
Yeah, I really just sailed one to Travis over the middle. He did a nice job. We had a cross route, had him open, and just sailed it a little bit. And Sav picked that one off. He was behind him. And then the other one, just me and Parker being on the same page at a curl route and trying to throw it away from the zone defender underneath. And we were just a little bit off on what each other was thinking. So that's the time of year where you work that stuff out. Obviously, you never want to have interceptions. You don't want to have balls on the ground. You want to be clean. But on the other hand, it's stuff you want to see the miscommunication or some of that, so you can fix it now and not carry that over, later on. So we'll fix that stuff and we'll get cleaned up.
We got time for 2 more.
Is the footwork stuff that you had not worked on before? Is it specific to what Liam wants to do offensively, or was it just fundamental stuff?
It's more of both. I'd say there's some fundamental stuff that I agree with that we've watched kind of throughout the offseason and said, hey, this is some stuff that I can work on to make me better, more accurate, a little bit more on time, and all this stuff, transfer my weight a little bit better. Then there's stuff that's just kind of system based, that's different, as far as the starting point of my stance, flipping that, which changes how you drop, so that was a big change, but that's more of the system and kind of what the system prefers. And I agree with a lot of that, or all that stuff, and I think it's helped me. But so it's a little bit of both, if that answers your question. And it's really specific as far as the concepts go with footwork and the details, and all that stuff is just kind of knowing and drilling my feet. So when I hear the call and I do it, I'm not thinking, all right, what's my drop? It's just you've done it so many times, you don't think about it.
Do you wish you had more consistency and continuity than you've had here in Jacksonville? I mean, you're working on your third center in 3 years, third offense, third OC, new receivers, new O-line.
I mean, it's a situation we're in. I really like the people we have here now. I love the system. I love the staff, the players that we brought in, along with the guys that were already here. I feel very confident in where we're going and the trajectory we're heading. Can't change the past, Of course, I would love to have a little more success up until this point. To answer your question, yeah, of course. But the reality is this is where we're at, and I love where we're at, and I got a lot of confidence in it. And we just got to keep putting the work in out here every day to prepare ourselves for the fall.
You said you needed juice here. You needed more juice here. Do you feel like you guys have it?
Definitely. There's an energy on the practice field. I think that starts with, obviously, Liam. He's a very energetic guy. He's passionate, loves football, loves to be out here. I think that's one thing I've noticed about him from the beginning is a lot of energy, and that trickles down through the staff, right? So, I mean, it's that, and then also the players that we have. A big variety of the guys that they brought in free agency, they all fit what we're trying to do in the I guess the culture and the energy, and then even a guy like Travis bringing in who's just full of energy and positive and a playmaker, all those things. It's cool seeing it all come together, and it seems like everything's well thought out about the type of people that are here, not just the talent.
Thanks, sir.
All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks.
I'm not really as much judging that at the moment. It's definitely we got to get used to practicing in these elements. We've definitely been working them in terms of the conditioning piece, so I'm not exactly worried about that at all. I think that day one off of a longer weekend and a little bit of energy probably up and trying to do all the right things and do it at a high level, probably lose some legs and a little bit of focus, and I think that's kind of what happened today a little bit, but good opportunity to turn it around tomorrow.
Are you good with where Trevor is and the offense and coming back from the shoulder?
No, not good. We're not good. We're trying to get better, right? I mean, we're not even close. We're working towards playing in September, obviously, and so at this point, it is strictly how much can we actually learn from every day. We're not evaluating, maybe some of the things that you would normally evaluate in a game, right, or in the season. It's like, how many mental errors did we have? How much can we continue to be disciplined with our communication, formations, alignment, assignment? Are we going to catch every ball and throw every ball out here in the first day of Phase 3? I would assume not. But more in terms of the operation, the communication, are we understanding what we're trying to get accomplished out of the calls? It's a learning phase, not necessarily a competitive phase. And do you want to be cleaner? Absolutely. Do you want it to look perfect? Yes, we all do. That's just not the reality at this phase, this time in this phase.
But he's not behind where you want him to be. mentally.
No, not at all.
That's kind of
No, not at all. Not at all. No, he's mentally, he's done a phenomenal job. This guy, in terms of his work ethic, what he's put into this thing and his own time while he's here, the play calls, handling the load, all that stuff, I've been very impressed with.
You said that you were going to build this around him, seeing it all for the first time on the field, going up against defense. Just what did it look like to you?
Young, you know, in terms of just, hey, we got it. First day, putting it all together. You know, it's not going to be as clean as you'd like it to be, as I kind of already alluded to. But what's cool is you do feel a little bit of an energy. You saw Travis make a couple plays when the ball went his way. You see the hands that he does present. I thought De'Ami Brown had a really nice day prior to kind of getting a little bit. I mean, he was feeling it. I mean, these guys, you could tell talking to them, yeah, they were feeling the heat. They were feeling their legs a little bit. And ultimately, you know, that's what this is all about, is trying to get those back underneath ourselves, getting better into football shape. You can run, you can do all these things all you want, but until you start going out there in football and doing it, it's a different feel.
What's your impression of Tyson Campbell as a player?
I thought he's done a nice job so far. I have. I mean, he has those fluid movements, long range. I thought he had a nice day specifically today, but also leading up into today, I just think he's done a nice job stacking blocks. He's got good vision on the quarterback right now, playing a little bit of a different scheme that he's been playing over the last year, and being a little bit more vision on the quarterback, patience, playing a little bit of off man. You know, I just think that that's kind of where he's going to be able to excel. He's got confidence right now, which is always good from a corner. I've been really pleased with Tyson thus far.
What is your approach for handling ones, like the starters? Do you rotate that day to day, week to week?
It's day. I mean, it's rep to rep, honestly. I mean, it's rack to rack is really kind of what we talk about. Is, hey, getting guys in with the ones in the first rack, and then slide them in with the twos with the next rack, and trying to give guys opportunities without, like I said, knowing they're not truly getting judged and graded on the, you know, competition right now. It is. We always want to compete in everything that we're doing, but ultimately it's about trying to create that continuity at times within the system, within the offense and defense and the calls. So there's really no like, hey, these are the starters that are going to be out there first game against Carolina. Do you have some ideas? Sure, but ultimately there is a lot of competition that will occur, especially throughout this offseason and as we get into training camp.
Speaking of Carolina, the schedule did drop. Just what was your initial take on that? And obviously every game's important.
Yeah.
Any game that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately you look at the first one, right, and it's against a team that we played twice last year, had, you know, a couple good games against, obviously in-division opponent in Tampa, and obviously a team that's, you know, continuing to grow, right? They're a team that, you know, new head coach last year, trying to get into it, showed some really good signs, I thought, at times last year. Dave's doing a great job with that team and that organization. So that's the one that's obviously circled at the moment. And like you said, they're all hard, right? They're all tough. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. And we just have to kind of take care of ourselves at the moment and get better each day.
You see groups running between drills. Is that one of your philosophies to really keep moving?
Yeah, we're not out here all that long at the end of the day. And so, you know, the whole thought process is just, hey, keep moving, you know, from a conditioning standpoint. If we're going from drill to drill and we're buzzing around and we're not walking on the field, well, we don't have to sit here and do extra conditioning after. They have to go with the weight room staff and go do extra conditioning. You know, that is a philosophy thing for us as a team, and just keeping guys moving, keeping it going. Ultimately, we do need some breaks. We need to let them kind of cool off and give their thoughts a minute. But I thought they, you know, handled it for the most part well today.
What we saw over there, was that young guys, rookies?
Developmental. Yeah, that's kind of a developmental period that we use towards the end of practice to kind of get those young guys, the rookies specifically, in those reps, right? Just getting them true full play calls in a jog through setting where, man, it's more about, again, the alignment, assignment, technique, fundamentals, and just trying to give those guys some more reps that maybe they're not getting in the course of the normal practice.
Will you guys do one or two joint practices?
One as of right now.
Okay.
One as of right now, yeah. Miami.
Let's talk a lot about the progress of the offense so far. Just what are your thoughts on where things stand with the defense so far and how they've taken it from the classroom to the field?
I actually thought they they did some really good things today. I thought just from a communication standpoint, punching the ball out, doing it in the right way though, right? We had a couple guys just trying to be intentional about getting the ball out and getting their hands on the football, something that we're, actively trying to be intentional about this whole offseason. And I thought the defensive staff's done a great job of communicating that in the meeting settings, bringing it out to the practice field. I thought that they did a nice job kind of setting the line of scrimmage, playing with length on the D-line, and, the ball was out. I mean, the ball was on the ground too many times for us offensively, but hey, on the flip side of it, that's the first time as a head coach you actually kind of have to be very neutral in those moments where I'm kind of ticked off that the ball is on the ground from an offensive standpoint, but ultimately, man, defense did a nice job of getting the ball out today for us.
Do you feel that your defense is ahead of the offense at this stage of the offseason?
I mean, I think always. The defense is typically always ahead. It's just it's a little bit more of a go line up reactionary kind of phase, if you will. There's a lot. I'm not, diminishing what they have to learn defensively. There's a lot of calls, a lot of different fundamentals, communication that has to occur. I think naturally you would say offensively there's a lot more that ends up maybe slowing you down pre-snap and post-snap. But yeah, I mean, I would hope that the defense would be a little bit further ahead, to be honest with you. I think typically that's the case as you go all the way through training camp and as you go into the season.
How's Travis Hunter handling all the information, taking it from classroom to field?
Yeah, I mean, I think so far so good. I mean, he had a couple missed assignments today that, he knew right away. He came off the grass and took accountability for him. The one thing you notice is a guy that hasn't played a ton of football or, been out conditioning maybe for the last 2 months because he was on a little bit of a tour. The guy can run forever. I mean, he just kind of goes, runs a route, runs back, runs. I mean, you could tell he's in football shape, and he was, he's done a nice job. Edgar Barrett, the coaches, Ron Milas, those guys have done a great job of meeting with him when they've had time to do so, and Travis has worked hard at getting this stuff right.
Couple more. How about full participation? I think William Cook and DeAndre Prince not here, so you pleased to see.
Yeah.
What that.
Ultimately, it's voluntary, right? And you have to. All we ask is ultimately, if you're not going to be here, can you communicate to us in a timely manner? And that's been consistently getting better as we've gone, and it really has over the last few weeks gotten so much better just from a clear communication on, what are the expectations if you're going to be here. We're setting schedules, we're setting up individual work that we want to be individualized for some of those players and anybody. So I've been pleased with the guys that have obviously been here and working. They've done nothing but do what we ask. They've been doing it from day one. They've worked their tails off. They seem to have good energy at all times, and it's not always easy to come out and be buzzing around. Ultimately, these guys are, it's their jobs, but they've done their jobs to a high level thus far.
How's Tootin looking?
Yeah, I think he put the ball on the ground today. That kind of stands out. But I thought last week, as we were kind of getting more into the scheme and he was getting a little bit more comfortable, I thought he started to get a little bit more into it, had a couple better runs of feeling the zone and being able to stick his foot in the ground and accelerate. So, good learning experience. First time in a live setting in the National Football League on your first carry. Hopefully you learned something from that moment. But I think all together, that running back room's done a nice job in terms of the competition, the acceleration, and the teaching for some of those young guys, and also the veterans doing a nice job of trying to help those guys out as well.
Coach, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
A lot of work has gone into it, so still a long ways to go, but it's awesome to get out here.
That speed at receiver with Thomas, Brown, and Hunter, how special can that be for you guys?
I think it's probably too early to say right now how special it can be or where that metric is to measure that truly, but I know that that'll be a weapon for those guys individually and for us as a unit to do the things that we want to implement from a scheme standpoint or from a individual attacking routes, building route trees, those types of aspects for those guys.
How has it been getting to work with Travis, getting to know him a little bit over these last few weeks?
It's been a lot of fun. I'm sure you guys see it, him out here, the dancing at the practice, the fun, the love of the game. That's one of the cool things about not just him, but all the guys we brought in. They're guys that love football, and I think that's apparent the way they practice. So it makes our job a lot of fun to get out here on the grass with those guys. Whether it's on the grass or it's in the meeting room, it's that same energy and passion for the game or passion for being around their teammates that they bring every day.
How tough is it a guy who's trying to learn the offense and the defense at the same time? You have to kind of utilize every second you have with him.
Yeah, you're definitely going for maximum efficiency. You're trying to optimize the time. So it's different. It's a unique challenge, but it's a fun challenge. It's an exciting challenge. And he's the type of guy, because of that passion and the love of the game, who's up for the challenge and can do it. So it is definitely different compared to the rest of the guys in his schedule, but it's a unique skill set. It's a unique person and a unique player. So that's been fun as well.
Where's Trevor at on maybe learning the playbook so far? He said he probably could pass a test right now if he had to.
He said he could pass a test?
Yeah, so has he passed the test?
Well, I don't know if I don't know what these counts as tests or what would necessarily qualify as tests, but he's done a heck of a job studying and preparing for practices and meetings. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to learn the system and to get to the point where it's second nature, where he's out there playing and not thinking, and he can process things at that speed that he'll play at. So it's still a work in progress. We have a way to go and we have time to build that, but he's done a great job putting in the effort, putting in the time to get to where he is right now.
Do you find crossover terminology for him, or is that on him to learn all the new terminology?
It's a team effort in everything we do. So there certainly is a meeting in the middle in terms of trying to make things accessible for him and the easiest way for him to consolidate information. We try to deliver it that way. But there is an element of learning a new language because it is a new system. Now there are similar things that he's done before that will apply to what we do, but it's a new way of doing it or a new way of communicating that is still going to bring some element of new regardless of if it's the same route or same scheme or concept that he's run before.
Some of the indie drills, there's a lot of movement involved with the quarterbacks. Just how intentional is that to kind of simulate what they might see in the room?
Yeah, I would say that I would hope that all of our drills have some intentional element of it in terms of practicing a specific skill or fundamental that whether it's an individual guy wants to work on or we want to work on and develop as a group, every day we step out on the grass, there's something specific that guys are trying to work on in everything we do. There's something deliberate that we're trying to practice.
What do you think learned so far as a first-time coordinator?
A lot. We probably spend all day here if I listed it all, but I think I've learned first and foremost about the people that I'm doing it with because a lot of these guys I'd interacted with but not spent a ton of time working with, and it is such a human element to it where there are different personalities, there are different people, not just the players but the coaching staff. So kind of learning that workflow and the dynamic and trying to find a groove between strengths, weaknesses, how to optimize that workflow, that's probably been the biggest thing.
I know it's just what are your impressions of the Army so far?
Yeah, helmets and shorts, so we'll see, but he's been another guy where you look at Travis, you look at BT, you look at the speed of that group running off the ball. It's exciting to watch those guys run off the ball, but more than anything, the way they work. I think you see how intentional and deliberate he is, not just in the individual periods like you talk about with the receivers, but even in the team periods. His attention to detail, trying to do everything in a way that expresses that everything matters for us, whether it's schematic, his footwork, his hands, the way he's dropping his weight, the way he's running routes. He's really deliberate with the way he practices, and that attention to detail is kind of contagious, not just in the receiver room, but hopefully across the whole offense.
Coach Coen touched on the fact that this is the learning phase. It's less about the competition aspects. From your point of view, how do you feel about any mental errors or just getting in and out of the huddle from that vantage point?
Yeah, I would echo his sentiment. We want our guys to come out here with a growth mindset. We're out here to improve. So, of course, we're trying to win games come the fall, but the number one priority right now is just to improve. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to fail and have that growth mindset on plays that are going to be challenging, things that guys haven't had a lot of time practicing or walking through, different looks that stress the guys mentally and physically. So not only coaches, players, everybody is hopefully out here with a growth mindset and focused on that improvement on a daily basis.
All right, let's do two more.
You got your feet wet last night in the community with the Tom Coughlin J Fund. How was it seeing the community come out to that in your first J Fund event?
That was really special. First of all, I was incredibly grateful that they even invited me. I sat down at the table, and I think the people thought I was at the wrong table because they put a little celebrity folded piece of paper in front of there, and they're like, should somebody tell this guy this is reserved for a celebrity? But I was like, yeah. So I sat down. Everyone was super nice, super friendly, and everyone really across the community, like the people I've run into, I haven't been out of the facility too much, but when I bump into people, super positive, and I'm extremely thankful to be here with the people of Jacksonville. It's been amazing, absolutely amazing.
Not sure if it's been asked yet, but have you made your mountain hiking determination for the summer?
No, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm a little more impromptu than I probably should be with some of these trips. So I'm thinking I'm kind of going back and forth between South America and New Zealand, but I kind of probably should get some stuff planned right now. Any recommendations? I'm all ears.
New Zealand.
New Zealand? All right, yeah. I'm all ears for any recommendations.
Call it. call the offense in Minnesota during practice?
Really kind of in a similar setting the way we did here when we do 2 spots, or the one one defense is up against the 2 offense and you split. So you go over to a second field and have the opportunity to call it and run the drill. So that was really my opportunity to do that there. So it mirrored pretty similarly to what I was able to do here.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, thank you, guys.